It's the end of our first day here in Colorado. We left Pennsylvania yesterday, Thursday morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning. We made it here this morning, but we put in a long night. We drove 7 hours on our spare tire. We had a valve stem go leaking on us on the ride out here, so we had to baby a spare tire along for 7 hours, but we're finally out here. Drove around once we got here today, doing some scouting. We saw 4 mule deer, but they were all does. Josh and I have buck tags, but just trying to get ourselves familiarized. We're in a new unit that we're not used to, but as you can see, no matter what area you go to here in Colorado, it's gorgeous. So hopefully the next couple days we can turn up some mule deer bucks, and we have some elk tags to hopefully fill too. So stay tuned. This is the end of our day 1 here in Colorado. We hiked up this morning to a burn area. We covered some serious ground. We saw about 10 elk. We worked our way down through the burn area, and we jumped a deer. We don't know what it was. So we hunted over there till about 1:30, and we moved locations, and we drove up to another area to check it out. It had a bunch of people in it, so we decided to leave that area. We came over to another area, found a gated road, so we just parked there at the gated road. We threw our tents up here this evening, and then we walked back this grassy road, and we saw at least 4 different mule deer on this grassy road, and the one mule deer probably walked right up to us about 30 yards. But we only have buck tags for over here. We don't have any toe tags, but we're hoping that we found a good spot for tomorrow. We'll do a lot of hiking back in here tomorrow and see if we can't turn something up. And when we were coming back to camp on the far ridge, we saw 4 elk. I mean, they were skylined up probably about 11.5. They were above timber, but they all looked big. We couldn't tell because they were too far, but I would imagine they were all bulls. But we just had a doe right here at camp. I went back to camp and saw it, but we had a really great day here, so hopefully tomorrow's going to be even better for us. Well, today's Sunday. We've seen a few mule deer so far. We made it to the top, about 11.5. Not a whole lot of deer sign, some. Some bear sign. Well, decent amount of elk sign. So it's about 11.05. We're going to go over here. There's a saddle. We're going to sneak into there, see what we see. And then, if you can see her that way, I think we're going to follow the rim rock around. And then we'll go from there. But other than that, it's amazing up here. Morning everyone, it's Monday morning, September 6th. We hunted in here yesterday morning, saw a few does, spent most of the day in here, then we went scouting in the afternoon, came back. We were kind of not sure of this. We went out last night, Josh and I both split up, and Josh saw a couple does in the direction he went. I actually saw about 6 or 7 does, and then I ended up finding about 7 different bucks. 2 of them were really big. Ranged them 65 yards, got the full draw. They come walking up out of the bottom, and I tried to stop them at 65 yards, and I went to try and get them to stop. And as soon as I did that, man, they took off. But we're gonna hopefully go back here this morning and see if we can't maybe turn one of these bucks up we saw today. But things are looking good for us. Hopefully we'll run into one of them. At least we know they're here now, so hopefully we'll have a good day. Well guys, just after I talked to you last time, I worked around the hillside right above us right here, and I jumped an elk, a cow. She was about 60 yards. And then I came a little bit further along the ridge line, and didn't I walk into about 40 yards? The same group of bucks from last night up on this ridge. I spooked them. They jumped up. I almost got a shot at the lead buck, but he was standing behind a tree. And then they dumped down into this valley here somewhere, which is where I saw them last night. This is what happens when you hunt where there's cows grazing. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any deer to come out here this evening. Well guys, I think this is what you're looking for when you're looking for high country mule deer habitat. Look at the size of this pond up here right underneath the rim rock. And I'm at about 11,500 feet, and there's that much water right there.
Well, this morning we woke up and we've been seeing deer in here, and we decided to separate again this morning. And Josh went high, and I just kind of kept going the same elevation, and went and sat at a spot, didn't see nothing, and I moved about 8 o'clock, and 8:30. I saw 4 doe, or 2 adult doe, 2 fawns, a couple elk started sounding off, and I looked back over my left shoulder where the 4 deer were earlier, and this guy came wonking out, and he instantly went back in the woods. So I left my pack there and walked over to the wood line, and he was facing away from me into a pine tree. And he must have sensed that I was there, because then he turned and I drew my bow, and he was standing at 40 yards, and I shot him, and he went about 60 and piled up in a little bit of a hole, and then had a little time finding him because the way he jumped off the bank, I didn't know which way he went, and you know, the banks out here are pretty steep, and didn't find my arrow either at all. So I started doing circles, and I found him laying there in about 10 minutes, and then I got to work to him and got them all processed, and I brought them out in one load. I put everything in my exo pack, and I put the whole deer rears, the 2 front shoulders, tenderloins, and the back straps all in my pack, and made it about a mile and a half out back to camp. So that's what we did.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't check my inReach, or I would have been able to give Josh a hand, but so much for buddies. I forgot to check my inReach, and he ended up carrying the whole thing out on his back. But
the pack did well.
Yeah, great. Well, we're going to run them to town and get them cooled down. Morning everyone, it's Wednesday morning, September 8th. Had a great day yesterday. Josh got his buck. We went back out last evening, and we saw 3 does, no bucks, but 3 does. And then when we go back to camp, there was actually a doe standing right here at camp. She was like 10-15 yards. She's kind of our resident pet here at camp. But we're going to go back here this morning, and hopefully we'll maybe turn up one of these bucks that we know are back here. Today's my wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Des. Maybe we can get you a birthday buck today, but hopefully we'll have a good day. And we're going to run back in town today, and hopefully we'll be taking something else with us back into town, so stay tuned.
Well, unfortunately, it's the end of our day here on Wednesday, September 8th. Josh and I hunted this morning, and then we just got back from our evening hunt. We saw 3 elk this morning, 3 cows, and we saw 1 mule deer doe this morning. And then this afternoon, we saw 1 doe coming in, and in the back, coming back out to camp here this evening, we saw 1 doe. A bunch of beef cows in here, so usually when the beef cows show up, we don't see too many deer. When the beef cows aren't back in the bowl back here, that's usually when we see more deer. So fingers crossed the beef cows won't be there in the morning. Tomorrow's going to be our last morning in here, but have a pretty good feeling they're going to be in there because they're there right now and we can hear them in the background. So we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Last night I hit a buck, but unfortunately we looked this morning, couldn't recover it. Really unfortunate and disappointing, but I guess that happens. So this morning I was able to take this doe and happy with it.
Well, we're here today.
September 11th.
We gonna walk up this hill for about 4 miles, and then we're gonna set camp up. And then we're going to hang out, get recouped, and then we're going to go kill a couple elk. So we'll be back down here shortly. We'll
pack out again soon.
Pack them out if it's too hot. They can't stay up in the woods. And then, if we come down too late, we'll go into town, hit a couple restaurants up, get a hotel room, maybe even get a sauna, a bath, hit the pool.
I don't think it's going to be like that.
You want to stay in shape, for this elk hunt trip.
I don't think it's going to happen like that.
No, not quite like that. We're going to head up the trail with some heavy packs and see what happens. Off to see the wizard again. Well, we made it into camp. I think it took 3-ish hours to get here. Then we set up our tents, took a little bit of a break, and relaxed a bit. Unloaded all of our exos, and now we're hoping to put them to good use. Just as I'm doing this, I actually just heard a bugle, so we're going to go chase it and maybe put these packs to work again.
Morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning, September 12th. We got into camp yesterday about lunchtime. Just made camp, set up our tents, and then we went out in the evening last night, and we actually heard 3, possibly 4 different bulls right around camp here last night. I saw 1 cow elk over here in the meadow last night. I didn't get a shot at, but we heard some elk throughout the night around camp, and we heard 1 down here in the creek this morning. We're just gonna mosey around here and see if any of these bulls will crack off this morning, see what happens. So hopefully we'll run into something, but we know at least there's some elk here.
It's lunchtime. We pulled a couple cows this morning. Hiked up to where the bulls were gambling last night. Plan's going to be to wait up here until evening. Hopefully he'll bugle again and give us his location. There's a chance to jump off this bridge and down to wherever he is.
So Desiree and I are almost to the top. We got two bulls bugling right over there on that ridge. Right there. We're trying to get the wind right and come in behind them. A lot of country in this back bowl. No one ever gets to it. We saw a bear right there last night from over here on this point. It was a pretty nice black bear. As you can see a whole lot. And from the looks of it, this is normally a pretty good spot for some rifle hunter. 300 Win Mag shells.
It's Monday evening, day 2 or 3, something like that. Today we all went out to the close meadow, saw a couple cows, but didn't have a chance at any of those. So Adam and Josh split up from Josh and I. Josh and I went all the way to the top, I don't know how else to describe it, and saw a few cows, heard a few bugles, waited till the evening, hoping to hear where exactly the bugles were coming from, trying to drop down in on them, but the evening was silent for us. Josh and Adam had a little bit of a better day, sort of. They went the other direction from us. They went the other direction from us, and Adam ended up getting a shot at a bull. They had really good blood, but weren't able to find it, so they'll look for it again another day. And they saw a lot of sign up where they were. So tomorrow I think we're going to take it a little bit easier, try to give the legs a break, hunt closer to camp, and then hopefully get into elk down lower tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, September 14th. We split up this morning because we saw some cows down in this meadow yesterday morning. We've been sitting here, it's about 8 o'clock. We haven't heard anything, but when I walked up in here, sat down, I could smell elk up above me. It was coming down this morning with the thermals. But other than that, it's been super quiet. We haven't heard any bugles yet this morning. We must have put the local bulls on alert yesterday, chasing them around. We haven't heard anything yet here this morning.
Hey guys, Desiree and I just got back to camp about 6 o'clock. We hurried up and made some dinner on our Jetboil mountain houses and peak meals. It's been raining off and on us, so we wanted to hurry up and get our camp chores done here before it got wet on us or downpoured on us. We still have to go pump water. We had split up again today. Desiree and I went one direction, Josh and Adam went another direction. We saw, I think, 4 cows total today, and one cow actually come running past us pretty fast. It was a small calf. Didn't come close enough for a shot for me to shoot, but we kind of figured maybe Josh and Adam were down below us. And just now when we got back to camp, Josh's empty game bags, that these game bags were packed in, is here at camp. And he sent me an in-reach message that we just got and said he got a cow today. And him and Adam packed it off the mountain, so they had about 4 miles back to the truck. They're going to stay overnight in town tonight and then come back up in the morning. But he had some good luck, at least today. We're seeing elk. Everybody's been seeing elk almost every day. It's just a matter of Desiree and I happen to run into the right elk at the right time. So fingers crossed, hopefully tomorrow will bring us some good luck too.
Today's Thursday. Josh and I have been into bulls yesterday and today. Yesterday we spotted a bull and his cows actually ended up coming in. We weren't expecting them. The cows spooked and then we never saw the bull later. Today we came back to about the same area. It was really feeling good this morning. We set up and started calling and I thought for sure something was coming in. I could hear the cows walking pretty close to us. I heard a cow call once. The cows must have got downwind of us and spooked. I'd say the bull was still somebody shot a mule deer doe, and Josh's mule deer tag was for the unit he was hunting earlier in the week. So we just stared at them like 30 or 40 yards. They were gorgeous. Well, we made it back to camp. We left this morning, got back to camp about 4 o'clock this evening. Hiked back up to where the bulls were bugling yesterday, dropped into a basin, no luck, no cows, no bulls, no nothing. It was completely quiet. The only thing we did see was a mule deer and her fawn, and came back to camp, had a little bit of dinner, and then we're going to go try to do some predator control. I'm going to go past Josh's elk carcass and see if there's a bear on it maybe. I do have a bear tag. Josh is going to hunt on out from camp for elk again this evening. And unfortunately this is our last evening in camp. Tomorrow morning we'll hunt the morning, and then we'll have to pull camp and head down the trail. Well, we hiked down to Josh's elk carcass to check it for a bear. There was definitely a bear there, but not when we got there. The bear was finished with its meal. The carcass is completely cleaned up, and there's really nothing left. It's probably not even worth sitting over or checking in the morning. So back to elk hunting.
Well, everybody, today's September 18th, Saturday.
It's mid-morning.
It's about 9:30. Des and I went out this morning. This is our last day here. Basically, we're packing off the mountain, and we got to go to Durango tonight, and then Des will fly out tomorrow from Durango back home. But went out this morning. Unfortunately, we didn't hear anything and didn't see anything, so kind of a bummer here on our last morning.
Yeah, we've been into elk every day except for the last two. I think they're getting wise to us.
Yeah, definitely. We've still had a great trip. I mean, when we first got here, we heard bulls bugling, chased bulls. We saw a bull. The next day we had bulls bugling again, had them within like 200 yards. I don't know how many cows we've seen over the trip, but unfortunately I just couldn't get a shot at any of them. But that's the way it goes with hunting. But it's been great. We saw some really, really big mule deer bucks the one morning when we were up on top chasing the bulls. We went down last night and checked Josh's elk carcass, and there was a bear down there, tore it apart. There's bear crap down there, but there wasn't anything left to even think about going down there this morning for Des to sit on it for a bear. But it's been a really great trip for us.
Another good vacation. We're only going home with a mule deer though, so.
Yeah. Luckily Des got a mule deer doe, but unfortunately I wasn't able to put a tag on anything last week over in Unit 80. Saw some really big bucks over there, just didn't get the opportunity to shoot. Josh had a really good trip. He's not here right now. He already packed down the trail last night, him and Adam, but he got a forky mule deer buck last week with me, and then this week he got his cow elk. So we've still had a good trip, and overall just a huge success. You know, DIY backcountry, it's no joke, but any animal you can get with a bow is definitely a trophy. But I was thinking back on it last night, and in this day and age, especially this last year we've had, how crazy the world is, man, to get up here for 8 days and just be away from civilization and no cell phones, don't know what's don't know what's going on in the world with COVID or worry about it. And even if you don't get anything, it's still a huge success to be up here and just be unplugged and get away from everything. And for me, I've been super lucky. I've been hunting for like 15 days now, and I'm definitely finally starting to feel that I'm ready for a little bit of relaxation. And we go home, and I got about 2 weeks to repack, and another buddy and I are going out to Idaho, Frank Church Wilderness. I have rifle tags out there, so I'm gonna try and get rested up and recuperated and get repacked and head on down to Idaho. But we've had a great trip here, and hopefully you guys enjoy some of it. Same as always, we don't have any kill shots on footage. We broke up into 2 groups this year since it was 4 of us. No sense 4 of us tramping around together making a lot of noise, but hopefully you guys enjoy at least seeing some good quality video.
Good scenery.
Yeah. One last little reminder, you pack it in, pack it out, take your trash out. If you find anybody else's trash, grab it too, take it out. Guys, don't leave your trash behind. It's disgusting.
Yesterday we found a sleeping bag and boots. Someone just decided not to pack them out.
And foil and mountain houses, they don't burn. Don't try and burn them. Foil doesn't burn. Pack it out, guys.
About a mile and a half done. I think 2.5 to go. How was it?
Almost to the truck.